We're live.
All right, there we go. Howdy, everyone. It is Crow's Nest No Quarter, episode 51 now. This one's called Prepare to be Assaulted. And the YouTube link, the link is in the YouTube chat if my mouth works. So if you want to join us and talk about some Battle Pirates, come on in.
All right,
So,
I really have to reassess you running the Saturday shows because it seems like your mouth doesn't work an awful lot on Saturday.
well, you see, when you dribble shit, it's it's part of the problems with that sort of stuff. So there you go. Anyway, let's say hello to everyone who's here, and we'll go from there, and then everyone else can talk, and I won't have to worry about using my mouth. So we've got Watchman.
Hi, guys.
And Killswitch.
Hi.
Roscrow.
Good evening.
Simba Dakota.
Hello.
The one and only Toxic. Who flubbed his intro.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah, I'm RB, and we've got Damnation, of course, as well, because it's his show.
Yeah.
So I thought we would talk a bit about the hull upgrades and the raid cycle coming up and all that sort of stuff. So how's everyone going with their upgrades? What do you think? Is it worth doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I got the first one done on all my eradicators because it was free.
Yeah, in the second part of Prize Pack 2 costed way too much gold, so I just didn't do it.
I'm not talking anything about the prize packs. I'm just whatever the tokens they gave me for logging into the game. I did my level 1 on my eradicators, and that's odds are that might be where I stop.
Yeah, I've done one eradicator. It's got 3 hours left until it gets to second level, and then I'll do the next one to level 2, and then that'll burn off those 5 tokens they gave us. Then I can go out and get the next 10. But of course, while I'm upgrading my eradicators, I can't do the eradicator TLC because it needs eradicators to do it. So yeah, so I'm sort of at an impasse at the moment. I can't really do much on that one, so I'm just waiting for them to build, so tomorrow afternoon probably I'll be able to do it, in time I'll sort of get some sleep and wake up again. Yeah,
it's kind of difficult the way it's all been handled, that you can only hold so many. You've got to do, you've got to use eradicators to get the upgrade kits, and you've got to repair your eradicators, and I'm up to the mastery round, but to be honest, I think I'm just going to stop. I'm like, I really don't know if this is worth it, because if you think about the amount of time we've spent building this hull, upgrading the weapons, upgrading the specials, and now, or refitting specials, sorry, and now doing upgrades as well. It's like, these ships must be at 30 days each.
Well, we still have to put.
The thing is, after you spend your 11 days upgrading them to level 3 or whatever, if you're going to go that far, then you still have to spend another day and a half putting more armor on them.
Yeah, I mean,
so you're looking at like 12 and a half days to do the full upgrade and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be gained from going to level 3, to be honest with you. I think, level 2, putting the armor on, that makes them slightly better than the brutal, I think, in deflection of resistances. But for what you're going to get from going up to level 3, and the time it's going to take, I can't see that being worth doing, But if you can get a whole fleet to level 2, yeah, I think that's viable, going forward with the game. Not happy that we got to do it, but
I saw something interesting on Discord yesterday when somebody was saying that after they did their upgrades and put their new piece of armor on all their hulls, their fleet actually did worse.
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Oh, God blimey.
Simba, did you notice that? Did that actually happen to you, or are you just seeing the others say that?
Oh, I have.
It happened to you. Okay, that's good, because Because I have heard of this from many, and I'm just now bringing mine up to level 2 on the 4th interdictor now. And so I was concerned with that exactly happening to me moving forward. But
that would be Eradicator, right? Not Interdictor.
I'm sorry, yeah, Eradicator.
I mean, there's no logical reason why they should be worse. I mean, because theoretically they've got what, a 3% speed boost in each one, and then you've gained X amount of extra resistance. So,
right.
You would.
I can give you a great logical reason that they would be worse. I programmed it.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, I've seen the reports too, so we'll just see. And I just don't. I mean, and I think that's something they will get sorted. I hope. You know, I'm hoping that my Eradicator fleet does much better with one new armor compared to the last event. I hope I do much better. I don't think I will. I mean, honestly, I just don't have my hopes up that high. But I do hope I will.
well, I had to. I mean, the reason I've only just started working on the Eradicators today is because I was finishing a Solemn Strike build and stuff. You know, because I'd started working on the strikes, and of course, there's no way I'm ever going to get them finished now because now I've got to play around with the Eradicators again, which I can get done before the raid, but I wouldn't have got the strikes done or both done. And I thought, as I've really got the Eradicators done into a good level, pushing them a little bit higher is got to be the way to go, you know. But afterwards, when will the strikes get built? Because I'll be building the new hull. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've upgraded mine to level 1 yesterday, and the SSRBs, I could do them between 30 and 40 minutes on auto. And after I upgraded it, it was 53 or 56 minutes to do the same thing on auto. So mine have gone worse 10 minutes.
See, I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even try them SSRBs on auto. Is that with strikes though?
That's with my launcher Eradicators.
Ah, right. I was going to say yeah, because I know that my Eradicators. If I try and auto an SSRB for bounty points, they start shooting at the bloody the mines in the water. And you lose time, you know what I mean? So you've got to target as you do. You've got to drive them around, you know.
No, the mine are different, but
yeah.
They don't worry about the mines.
Right.
And like I said,
so yours are launchers. So yours actually did get worse.
yeah. I mean, not time wise. I mean, I still do it like they auto the SSRB, and I've got about a minute 20 seconds to spare. But
yeah.
The repair time has gone worse by 10 minutes or thereabouts. And that's just going from the normal Eradicator to level 1 on all the 4 hulls.
That's just a speed increase, though, isn't it? That's what it gives, isn't it?
Or whatever it gives you, yeah. It's gotten worse. Well, the repair time has gotten worse. I don't know whether it would have been the same. I didn't try it before. I just upgraded them and then went into the SSRB without, you know, maybe they've done something in the upgrade or whatnot or whatever they do. And it would have been the same maybe, I don't know, but compared to the week before, it's worse.
Well, for me, when I do the SRBs, this is the same thing after I done the upgrade 1 on mine.
Right, but
yeah,
Toxic has a little bit different build. And his does, and the mines really don't. With Toxic's situation in the build that he uses, the mines don't really play a role in the effect on his time or damage, or actually pathing, right?
Yeah, if I accidentally run into one, it slows me down for a second or two. But the launchers don't try to fire on it.
Right. So you're right. So, so the speed affected maybe somehow your pathing. Is my guess on the situation there, and the pathing altered your course, since you're autoing, and the course alter changed the damage. I mean, that's the only. That's right. I mean, that's right. Correct.
I got no idea. I got
Have
no
you
idea.
have you watched have you watched the autoing to see if they take a different path from what they were doing before?
I think we did it last week on the show, didn't we? I think I can't remember.
Yeah, and then you did it yesterday, but we weren't watching it. So
yeah.
Well, I wasn't watching it. You probably were, but I
was going to say, because that might explain it if they take the different path now or something.
Yeah. To tell you the honest truth, I have not got a clue.
If your ship is now set between like maybe two groups of turrets and they're both firing on it at the same time, rather than
Yeah, because the damage was all pretty even across the fleet, so it wasn't like they'd split up and two had gone one way and three had gone the other. They're all pretty much the same damage. So you're probably right there, Watchman, that it's that you've got two lots firing at you at once or something like that.
Yeah,
could be.
That's the only thing I can think of. It's like,
yeah.
No, it makes sense. So, and is everyone like? What's your feelings and thoughts about this upgrade? The general consensus of the community is not very positive from what I've seen at all, and it just seems like it's a strange direction that they're taking us in with no, this is what we're doing, or you're going to pay for it at some stage. So,
well, what annoys me is they give you, and fair enough, it's good on them. They gave us some upgrade tokens and whatnot, but then they give you this TLC, and if you don't use some of the tokens, then you lose them. You can only have 10. Yeah. So what do they want us to do? I mean, what if I want to upgrade them all at once?
Well,
why do I have to upgrade one and then just so I can use some tokens so that I don't fall, get thrown into the water?
But Toxic, this is the problem that I've had with them for ages, I think, and so have many other people, obviously, is that if they say you can win X amount of tokens, you should be able to hold that amount of tokens.
Yeah,
there's no point to say here's 5, but you can only hold 10, but there's 10 in the TLC. Then the limit should be 15. They should have made the limit of 15, not 10. It's just stupid, isn't it? And it's like
really,
every time they do this, you know what I mean? It's like how many? It's not just in this way. They've done it in quite a few, and it's like it's just stupid, because it interrupts all our other builds that we're trying to do, and it messes about with all our plans that we're building the fleet. Because you'd sit back on those tokens and then smash them all out in a few days, probably or something, and get what you was doing finished.
But you would actually have to play the game to understand what a big pain in the ass.
Well, it's truly to the point where I was talking about the other day. It's to the point where it's more than that. It's intentionally. I feel it's intentionally fucking with your customers. It truly is. It's like Walmart having a tire sale, right? And a sale for 4 tires for a special for if you buy 4, right? But you can only pick up 3 at a time.
Oh, exactly. It's just been madness.
It's total. It's intentionally messing with your customers. It's truly intentional because they make them. They make it that way. They're the ones creating the limits. So I don't get it. Intentionally upset your customers.
They've mastered the art.
Honestly, I think the person who puts the limit on is an entirely different person than the person who puts the amount of tokens in the TLC, and none of them talk to each other. They have all these fucking meetings every week, but apparently none of them actually talk to each other about what the fuck they're doing in the game.
I don't think they've ever met.
I don't know. If you talk to them, that's what they do all day long is have meetings.
Then when are they getting any work done?
Yeah, that's right. Well, a meeting is work. That's how it works.
No, they're all meeting up and playing another game.
Yeah.
No, I think they are working on stuff and things. I mean, we can't say they aren't. We look at the new things coming out. It's just not the direction I was hoping that we'd be moving in. I was looking for less build times, less repair times, even less shipyard time, and not more. And exactly opposite, actually, of what I was kind of hoping as a valued customer, a player of sticking with you 7+ years. I was looking for, the things I've been asking for the whole time.
Let's look at the direction that we're going in. Yeah. Okay. So we got the new raid holes coming out, and you've got a choice of one, and most of us know, like with our luck, we'll end up picking the wrong one or something. And that's going to be refitted and upgraded in 5 times before it's viable. Then we've got shipwrecks coming out, which give out a lot of stuff we're really getting, apart from some upgrade tokens, which we're not that happy about anyway. And then the Corsair. So I'm going over this quickly. Obviously, everyone hopefully will comment back on this later. We've got the Corsair coming out, which is a PvP hull primarily designed to be basically a sniper, which was really popular, wasn't it, with everybody? Everybody loves sniping. I think that was overwhelmingly voted down, and that's why the subs and that weren't allowed to hit fleets on the map and stuff. I don't know if the direction the game's taking isn't a good idea. I'm not seeing many positives at the moment on this. So, and back to you guys.
Yeah, I was going to go into all of that sort of stuff, so we'll probably loop around to that in a bit. So, I mean, unless anyone wants to add anything to the whole upgrade conversation or anything like that, I know, even just looking at the chat here, people are saying, the same things, that they're, the damage is too high, is it worth it? I mean, my personal feeling is I'm just going to roll the dice and wait at upgrade 2 and see if they put any more in the raid, and I'll get them there. And if they don't have them in the raid, well, I guess that's my loss, and I'll suffer for that. But I don't see the damage is just too high to be worrying about doing this sort of stuff. Once I get the next lot of armor on there, it's, I'm quite prepared to just stay there. It's not that much of a massive difference. So
I've given up on this team altogether, dude. I'm just skating by, doing bare minimum, and waiting for the next team to come in. Hopefully, they'll have some common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. In all honesty, it's not a bad place. I mean, I've been hanging out the whole year, the whole last year.
But
nothing.
The thing is, though, there's no parameters. There's no way of telling, is there a new team coming? You know what I mean? Like if there was something like last time, they did this and whatnot, and that's what made, what caused all this. But there's no telling. Teams just get changed willy-nilly.
Yeah.
It's how do we know? They might love that team. Who knows?
Well, I know that Chris is still only supposed to be our interim CM. Like, he was only supposed to be here until they do all the changes, and then he's supposed to move on to do something else, and they're supposed to have another CM.
I mean, it's more than time to change that team out, because all they've done is just cause disarray and problems in the game.
I've not been this dejected about the game since Aerospecs was the lead. And I'm actually probably more dejected about the game than when Aerospecs was the lead, because at least in the beginning I had some kind of hope for him.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Sometimes it's better the devil you know, eh?
Travis has a big theory about this whole thing, that Ronfinger is still so mad over them fucking tome up so bad that he's just out to ruin all their games now.
It's just impossible, isn't it? It's the build times, isn't it? And the refit times. It's just impossible to get fleets built and viable to a point where we would take what I'd consider to be reasonable damage, in most of the targets. Reasonable damage.
I mean, that's it. That's the issue. That is the issue. The repair and build times are too high, and they're going higher.
If it helps at all, they're looking for a new product manager in San Francisco.
But isn't that why they went to the 3 raid cycles a year, and then we had the assault only for the FM, so that we didn't have to build that many hulls and whatnot. But since that new teams come in, they put it all back to 4 and more and upgrades and kits and this and that and blah blah.
It's got worse than ever.
I said on Thursday's show, and I don't know if you had a chance to catch it yet, or not toxic, but like basically this team has come in, and all the things that the players have fought so hard for over the past 3 years that we wanted as for the game as a community, the new team has taken and gotten rid of all that within 2 months.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I've not watched the whole show, but I've watched most of it. But yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, it's basically a different game to what when I started it was. So
they've made it worse than it ever was.
Yeah,
because we've never had to do. Not only have we only got a 2-month cycle with 2 fleets to 3-month cycle with 2 fleets to build, but now we've got constant updates on those fleets. Upgrades and stuff like that, which is worse situation than we've ever been in. It's crazy.
Just real quick, I'm kind of reading chat a little bit here and watching the conversation between Carl and RB. I have to say, honestly, I disagree with both of you guys. I don't think it's Harbin and the board who are setting the direction for this. I think they are so far removed from Battle Pirates, it's not even a blip on their radar. They're more worried about that $20 million investment they got for the artificial marketing AI thing. I think that's what they're concerned about. I don't think they have dick all to do with Battle Pirates at this point. I don't think it's even a blip on their radar.
Yeah, but the profit margin is that's what boards look at. They're only interested in money, and they don't care how they get it, because that's what it's all about. So if it's like I've said before, if there's I always think of that Wolf of Wall Street movie where there's some mandate written on the wall or something, and it's like, screw the customers, make as much as you can, and that's your mission statement. That's what everyone's going to be trying to achieve.
The thing is, though, the board is not the one saying, well, this is what you need to do to make the money. The board doesn't care how they make the money. It's up to the teams to figure out how they're going to do it. Well, and the teams are the ones who are with all the fucking shitty ideas that are fucking us.
Can I just say something? I was watching a show earlier, Linus Tech Tips. It's called the WAN Show. The guy does a lot of tech stuff, yeah. Now, and he's been really successful at it, really successful, And a guy come on and he said, would you consider going public because I'd like to invest? And his reply was no. He said, because I think I know what I need to make this successful, and I don't want to have to go to shareholder meetings to explain every decision that I make, and I know what my people that are watching the show or that follow him want. And you so wish that Kickside said the same kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to answer to anybody. We kind of make the decisions that are for the gamers, you know what I mean, that they want, that keeps them here and keeps it growing, because he has got the right business acumen, and they seem to have got it completely wrong. And that's why they've had to downsize the worlds, where we've only got now like 20 sectors per world instead of 100, and that's the result of their failure, which is not on the part of the customers, because we're here. We were still willing to keep going, but they have failed us over and over again,
But it's not a failure because they don't know what they're doing. It's a failure not listening to your customers. Mm-hmm. What the customers want. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if they were to do what the majority of battle pirates would like to see, I'm sure that we would still be having 500 sectors, not 100. Maybe we wouldn't have 20. We might have 50 per sector or per world. Sorry, but it wouldn't be as bad as what it is now.
Yeah, I would agree. There would still be drop off just because it's the natural, lifespan of games. People play them for so much time and then they're done with them and want to move on to something else. But yeah, a lot of their decisions, like you say, have pretty much chase people away from the game. People that I know people that are still looking for a reason to come back to the game, and they're sure pretty far off that market during the current time. I
mean, they send out all these surveys and they said, what do you want? And the majority of them, we want a straight bit of road. And what do? They put as many twists and turns in it as they possibly could. And then people just had enough and walked away. Because they did the exact opposite of what the player base wanted.
And I've never seen a report on any of those surveys, you know, breaking it down or anything like that. So they have to be getting some sort of good feedback out of it. You know, I'm sure there'll be the normal amount of trolls and all that sort of stuff, but there must be some good feedback. And, you know, all it takes is a post saying, you know, based on your feedback from the last survey, we've decided to blah, blah, blah. And that's not what's happening at all. So it's like, you know, it's just strange.
See, because every time
that's from personal experience, I like definitely from personal experience in my dealings with them. You will tell them, like, write them a whole paragraph of something you think, and they will take 1 or 2 words that they see in there and that they like and take it totally out of context from what you said. And then be like, oh, well, this is what you asked for. No, motherfucker, that's not what I asked for. Read the whole goddamn sentence and work on your goddamn comprehension skills.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the polls put up, you know, polls, yeah, and the polls are normally predominantly against anything that KIXEYE has now added, you know what I mean? And that said, no, we don't like it. We don't like it, yeah? And then they put out a survey. And who the hell is filling out these surveys if they're saying, due to, you know, this is something you've asked for? Who the hell asked for it then? Because look at the polls, you know, forget your surveys, yeah? You know, your market research, you're spending money. You're obviously wasting money, like, on these market research companies, yeah? When you should just look at the player polls on the pages, yeah, that are out there. And that tells you that people are not liking it. The customer base is not liking it, you know?
Yeah, well, to be honest, and Damnation and I were talking about this the other day, that to me, with the new features and stuff, it's almost like they have listened, because there's certainly been times that we've talked about mining platforms and fleet versus fleet and all that sort of stuff, but at the same time, it's their interpretation of what we're talking about when they haven't seen any of this. You know, it's like Watchman, you talked about the Corsair. Now that's all well and good, and we'll go into that in a bit, but if the repair times are, you know, 3 to 4 hours or something like that for a fleet, maybe people might think about doing fleet to fleet. If repair times are 12 hours per fleet, no one's going to do it. So you bring in this whole new feature that, you know, yeah, we may have talked about, but you're not getting what we're saying. So it's like, you know, Damnation said, they're only taking a little bit of it, twisting it, changing it, and, you know, nobody is going to do fleet to fleet if you've got a 12-hour repair.
That's it. They're cherry picking little parts of it, basically. And thinking,
thinking this is what they want. This is a new way of screwing them. But with the repair times and the build times, no one's going to do it. You know, where are you going to get time to build a whole nother new fleet of interceptors to do mining platforms? It's like, well, I don't know. I'm doing upgrades and I'm doing, you know, the fleets that I need. So I'm not going to have time to do interceptors that take 12 hours to repair.
It's hang on. I've got 2 fleets. I've got to do a year's worth of building in 3 months for these 2 fleets with all the updates and upgrades. I've still got to finish off the second fleet from last month anyway. Yeah, and now I've got to build another fleet on top of that. Okay. But
that's the thing.
I think, well, the Corsair will be built in the PvP yard, I would have thought, anyway, you know, in the concrete yard, yeah. But, you know, because I think, I'm not sure if it's going to be like a concrete type hole or not.
The thing is, though, now, I've chosen to do to build the Eradicator. I've not built a strike. I've not started to have a strike. A shrike, sorry. None of that. So I'm now locked out of one of the TLCs because I don't have that hull. So why can't I go in there with my Eradicators?
But on the flip side, though, is if you're not building the strike, then what the hell do you care about what's in that TLC for anyway?
Well, you know,
upgrade shit for the strike. And if you're not building the strike, and you don't plan on building the strike, why do you even need anything out of that DLC?
But is it going to be just for the upgrade tokens, or maybe next time there's going to be I don't know, something that you need for launches that I would need because I've got launches on my eradicators, but I can't do it because I haven't got the.
It seems to me, and while I'm all about tinfoil hats, it just seems to me like you're just making up shit to complain about now.
No. I just think everybody should be able to do everything. That's all. I mean, be easier with the strikes, but Eradicator should still be able to get in and try to do it even with more damage.
The game was much better in the day where we had fleets that could multitask, basically. And if we could ever get back to that, where we could use a fleet to hit a base and to do your raid and all sorts of things, people would be much happier. Because that's what the old fleets used to be able to do. You could do most things with them, and now we need a specific fleet for a specific job in every single aspect of the game, and they keep introducing more and more of them, and longer builds and more in refits, and it just gets to the point where it's almost impossible to build unless you are ridiculously coiny, so that so many people start falling behind, or they feel they fall behind, and they end up getting discouraged and they drop out. And none of us want to see that, because the community is what keeps this game alive. Despite Kixeye, it's the community that's kept it going. And I think, Kixeye themselves are surprised that this game is still alive. And they did say recently that they only planned for like 2 years because they wasn't expecting it to run that long. And we're still here, and now they've got to find an idea or a sensible idea to keep it running. But they haven't.
I remember Paul Priest saying he expected it to last 6 months.
Yeah.
But the best time in the game, was back in the days, I don't know, when maybe the DNX and MCXs were around, and they could do most things. And that sort of gameplay was much better. And it was a much more balanced game back then.
Yeah.
And
back then at the sorry, Killswitch, go for it.
No, sorry, I was just saying, but that was when the game was still growing as well. It was working, and because it was a much more, it was a better balanced game.
Yeah.
There wasn't huge differences between the majority of the players.
Yeah, sorry, I thought Killswitch was trying to say something.
Whoever made the game was funner back then.
Yeah.
I would say there wasn't such a discrepancy, range between the haves and the have-nots. I think the range now is so much so that the haves have this game, and the have-nots have a totally different game that's really not fun.
Yeah.
And there's the number of haves is very few, and the number of have-nots is great. And that's how it and that's how it's happened to me. And the haves is getting fewer and fewer because the have-nots will leave.
Well, that's primarily because back in the day you didn't have as many fleets to build. That same fleet would do multiple tasks. And now, of course, the only people that can build every fleet are the haves, are the what people used to call, the whales or whatever, however you want to call them, yeah. And but they're starting to drop off. We've seen many of those drop off because they get fed up with it,
Right.
But yeah, and that's why there's a big discrepancy in the game now between levels, because it's those that can get fleets built, or coin fleets, and those that just are building in real time or trying to the best of their abilities, and you can't. I think it was Heath, wasn't it? It was Nick Heath. I think he posted a post a week or so ago, and it was saying that to actually get these two fleets built, the Eradicator and the Shrike, it was just over a year with all the refits, and even with the tokens that were given out, it would theoretically, you got 3 months to get them done, and it would have taken over a year to just build them normally. That's just crazy, and we've got 3 months to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said originally, that when you, because it's quite sneaky the way that this has been done, and because we're constantly building, you don't add up the time that you've spent, but if you added it all up, I think you'd find that we're easily at 30 days per hull, easily, if not more, which is the complete opposite of what we've been saying. So.
Well, yeah, because okay, we'll take an Eradicator, for example. I don't know about your guys' build, but mine came in about 17 and a half days, roughly. You figure 11 days to upgrade it the whole way, that puts you at 28, and then, 28 and a half, and then you got to put another day and a half armor plate on after you get that second upgrade done. You're right at 30 days.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a month, yeah? So that's 5 months, and then you've got 2 fleets. That's at least the minimum of 10 months then.
That's without ranking, even.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've done specials and weapons as well. So.
Yeah, that's not counting in, my number wasn't counting in, flagship upgrade, because fortunately we haven't had to do that yet.
Yeah.
That would even be more than 30 days because the flagship build itself was more than the regular ships in the first place.
Yeah. Because that was 22, 24, something like that, wasn't it? Something.
Yeah, I mean, it varies around builds, but anywhere, from 22 to 24.
Yeah.
So there we are. We've established that it's a minimum of 10 months to get fleets that need to be built within 3 months.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we wonder why everyone
is that reasonable?
Carl in chat is saying he remembers when the whole fleets took 60 days. Yeah, I do too. I remember my Dread X's were 11 days and some odd hours. Fully done.
Yeah. And that fleet would also do, as I said, would do a lot of other tasks as well.
It was awesome. They were awesome. I mean, I coined them straight out, coined them, and was happy with my product. Back in the day, seriously, you'd make videos with the DNA. You got to be kidding! There was a blast. Seriously, I was happy throwing money at a video game
because you saw value for money in it, because it would work for multiple levels. That was it.
Well, something Chris got really mad at me about for saying last month was that the game has lost its ability to survive on microtransactions. And I mean, you can get mad at me all you fucking want, dude, but it's true. You've lost 4/5 of your player base, which is very obvious by the sector consolidation. You got rid of 4/5 of the world, so you've lost 4/5 of your player base. The more players you lose, the less ability you have on getting by on players spending $5 to $10. So you've lost your ability to support the game on the microtransactions. It's not fucking rocket science, dude. It's common sense to anybody who knows anything about business that the less customers you have, that the more you have to charge the ones that you have left. That's common sense. So you can get pissed at me for saying that all you want, but it's fucking true.
Yeah. That's our reward for being loyal is having to pay for the guys that left.
Well, here is one of them. Yeah. I was a micro customer. I was spending $10, $20, $50 a month sometimes if everything went really good. Now I'm not spending anything. Why would I? Everything they do is making me not want to switch the computer on. I mean, I switched the computer on, and I think I told you guys yesterday. The first thing I saw, this was on Saturday, and the first thing I thought is that I got granted 1,200 bounty. So it shows you I've not switched the thing on since last Sunday. So I'm on 2 days a week now.
I was doing about $12.50 a month, So I'd buy one big lot, and which is $100 to you guys. Back in the day, it was about the exchange rate it's gone pants now for the UK. It's crap. But back then it was only about £62. And that would see me out for an entire month, and that was okay. It was under 20 quid a week, Christ, I'd do more than that in a pub in one night, So, yeah, I could play a game for a whole month with that. But now, I mean, I did buy a few big purchases, but now I'm trying to spend less and less. But they're asking more and more. And this is the frustrating thing, it's like, when does it stop? When does it stop? I suppose that's my choice, I suppose, when I decide to stop. But, I'm not happy with what I feel is the constant pressure to keep doing it. It doesn't feel like it's fun. It feels like if you want to try and stay at a reasonably high level, you're being forced to keep spending a lot of money, which I'm not happy with. That's...
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this straight up, and for as long as Wrong Thinker is in charge and taking the game down the path that he is currently taking it, I will not spend 1 red cent on this game. Fact.
And now there's lots of people that, I mean, I've spoken to a few that I've known from other games, and they were like me. They were buying when the gold was cheaper. Like with they just had one the other week, where you got for $8 you got 105 coins. They're not even buying that anymore because they don't think they're not going to last much longer in the game because it's getting that expensive, and it's hard. It's so many things so many chores you have to do that it's just not fun anymore.
Well, I mean, there was a deal out last week, I think. Again, I didn't take it this time. I mean, normally I'd take those deals. I mean, all right, I've still got a good fair chunk of gold left, but normally I keep topped up. And but now I am running it down, because I want to see what happens with the next fleet, the next raid series, and what they do, and see, to be honest, if I want to continue playing this game, because I've got to now start to find some fun in it again, and not find it as a chore or a hobby that's taken up too much of my time. And even demanded too much of my money eventually, I really, really am getting to that point where I think, I'm not going to buy any more now. I'm just going to sit back and wait and see where this goes, And if I don't like it, and I don't, because I expected to be here until they turn the lights out, but this for the first time, I think I might not be, And I don't like to say that, but I'm not been happy with the way this team is taking this game, and these build times and the amount that they're asking us to do,
Well, speaking of new hulls, shall we roll into the assault part of this and the raid and the new hulls that are going on?
Yes.
I'm assaulted every day I play this game.
Yeah.
And insulted too, so... Yeah, so for the raid, we'll be having 2 new hulls. One's a scattergun, one's a missile. This is on the forums if you want to see it. I don't know if you want to put me on present Damnation, but...
No, I don't.
No,
I'm having to push button. I don't want to.
Anywho, so Wrong Thinker is going to tell us the strategy of this on Tuesday or something like that, which is a bit unusual for someone who doesn't.
Yeah. I was gonna say, can I comment on that real quick? Why is Wrong Thinker giving us the write up on how to do the targets? Wouldn't it make a whole lot more sense for the guy who, I don't know, designed the targets to tell us about the targets and how to approach the targets? Wouldn't that make a lot more sense?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to see it written about. I want to see it demonstrated. So this, to me, almost feels like the Manticores, choose wisely which option you're going to be, which one you're going to choose. So, because I don't really know if there's enough information about them, but I guess, we'll see what Wrong Thinker says with a lot of words about very little. So, yeah.
Well, it might not be right, but it sure shall be funny.
That's very true. That's very true. So they've got new ways of doing things. The Saturn, which is the scattergun one's got an aura called Kill Hauling, so you can go in and take more damage. And the Nemesis X is missile, so you can, with a cryo aura, so you can run around and try and miss things. So I guess that'll be the way it goes. There's also the Howler, which is the new PvP one. So if you want 3 hulls out of this raid, be prepared for how are they going to work that out? So there was a thing in Discord about there's too many zeros in the game, so they're going to drop it off. So I guess they're worth 400,000 each. I don't know how to guess. 450,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've divided it by 10, haven't they? So instead of
hang on, sorry, it'd be million. Yeah, it'd be million each, so not.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 40 mil or 4 million for each of the new holes, I would guess.
Yeah.
But and your top tier prizes that we're paying or targets that we're paying out 2.5 million are now only going to pay out 250K.
Yeah, just they take the note off basically, or whatever.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. So obviously the blitzing was working too well, and we're getting too bigger scores, so they can't handle a zero. So kind of interesting. And the Howler is basically the Rage again. So this one has got short-ranged weapons, and it's going to have an aura that's going to make it invulnerable for an amount of time or whatever. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out as well. So
I'm going to be howlering in rage.
That might be the title for next week.
There you
Didn't
go.
we ban the tier 6 version of this from ever competing again?
Yeah, I mean, this seems real similar to. I mean, now, granted, I guess this doesn't have the overload mechanism or whatever, because you won't be firing when you're nigh on invulnerable or whatever. But I don't know. It still seems a whole lot to me like the Rage.
Yeah.
Well, it says it moves slowly, but unleashes a relentless barrage of damage. And you think that this has got to be so heavily armored then to take that,
Well, actually, it'll be like, oh man, what was that other one? You know how it was a Reaver ship, and if you armored it too much, you'd never get it to overload, so you had to keep it at a certain level. What ship was that? I know we're testing memories now, but
Or Saber.
Yeah. Yep.
Are you sure it was the Gore Saber?
No, it was the other one.
Oh shit! What was it called?
You know the one I mean, right?
Yeah, because I used it in my guard.
Mm-hmm.
And put piranha depth charges on it, but it was a long time ago. It was the Wrath or something Wrath.
I don't know. Anyway, it seems a bit like that sort of mechanism. So I think you're going to have to, see where that aura kicks in as to how much damage it is and how much armor you put on it. But I mean, I'm only going from what I've read here. I don't know.
That wasn't bugging me, so I'm logging into the game to figure out what the name of that hole was.
All right, it's the Reaver one.
It wasn't the Hellhound. It was before the Hellhound, but it was very similar to the Hellhound.
Yeah, around that sort of time. So anyway, and then the battle report and defense update's going to hit on the 19th of March. So we'll see if that doesn't get pushed back again. So we'll see what happens. And now in big font, fun new features, which is the shipwrecks and interceptors that Watchman mentioned earlier.
Fun.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's in big writing and italics and different color.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm
I
about to
know,
lose
right?
control, and I think I like it.
Wow.
That's valid.
Thank God you don't have a camera. That's all I'm Grimshine's Wrath is the hole I was thinking of.
That's the one. So you're right on your Wrath.
Yeah, I knew Wrath was in there somewhere, but I couldn't think of the Grimshine part.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what it reminded me of that sort of, getting your armor level right to get the most out of it, but very much similar to the Rage as well. So anyway, so we know Toxic wouldn't have read any of this, but does anyone else have any thoughts about it?
I've memorized it word for word, but I've forgotten it again.
Good one.
I don't. So, which one do you want to talk about? Because you keep scrolling all over the goddamn place, so I'm not sure which one you're trying to talk about.
Well, the whole deal. We're getting, we've gone a fair way into the show, so it's just about, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know the Nemesis X. I'm gonna have to see more stats on it and understand more about how the targets work before I know if it's any good or not. Because, like, I know we were talking last night, the other night on the after show. It's like a lot of it's going to depend on. Okay, it says about going into the clouds to hide from the turrets or whatever. Well, can you still shoot while you're in the clouds? Can stuff shoot you while you're in the clouds? Can you shoot stuff, but it can't shoot you while you're in the clouds? I mean, that's all stuff that's unknown.
Yeah. And certainly in the piece that Wrong Thinker does, I want to see the actual stats. I don't want to just see a wall of text about them and describing how the sunlight bounces across the hull. I want to know what they actually do. So,
but when we had ships hiding in clouds, we could never fire upon them, but they could shoot at us. That's how it was.
The mechanic, back then, yeah.
So I would think it'd be like that. That once you dive into a cloud and it's anything comes close to you or whatnot, or you're parked, the cloud is to something that you want to shoot at, then you should be able to shoot at that.
Of course, it's all relative to where the clouds are in relation to the actual turrets.
Yeah, of course.
Fleets.
You know that they're not going to let you be able to sit somewhere and shoot at stuff without it shooting back at you. You know they're not going to let you do that.
Without seeing a look at what a target looks like and where clouds might be positioned in relation to the other stuff on the in the target, you can't really make a valid choice, can you, on a build? On what ship you want, because it might be completely bloody useless if the clouds like the other side of the bloody map. I think that's something.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of interesting that one's a Forsaken and one's a Draconian too. It's like, I don't know. It seems a strange bit of design, and then the PvP looks obviously reverb to deal with all the new launcher turrets that we've put in. So
we can only.
And I can guarantee at this point they've probably tested both of these holes at least once, maybe getting ready to do it a second time. So, like, why not let people show them testing the hull? That way people know what the targets are going to look like and know what the hulls can do so they can make an informed fucking decision. Like, 4 fucking years of this game, we've been saying, let us make an informed decision when we have to choose something. And 4 years of this game, they've been like, no.
I mean, we can only get one of these, or we can get both and only build one.
You can only pick one.
Only pick one.
No.
Okay.
I think, can't you?
No, you can
get all. No, you can only pick one of them during the raid.
Yeah.
Okay. Where does it say?
Well, shit.
At the very beginning.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't pay attention. I got to go with the one I thinking can auto the best,
Yeah, same here, Ross. I was just about to say that.
It's so at the beginning it says, I just want to read that.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah,
right at the top. Yeah, it does say you can only pick one of the two. Sorry.
Yeah,
just to clear that up.
So it is that choose wisely rubbish again. Sorry.
Yep.
But it's like, you want the green or the blue one?
Yeah. Which one's prettier?
Yeah, which one is better? What do they do? I mean,
Well, you still know that you're going to get hurt whichever way you use, whichever way you pick. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's which poison are you drinking?
Yeah. You said something interesting earlier, RB, about you didn't know the way the sunlight glared off the hull or whatever. I actually want to know that, because if it glares just right, it will go into the opponent's eyes and they won't be able to see to shoot me as well. So I actually want to know that.
In that case, you want the Saturn.
Oh, okay.
Because you can see how the sunlight delicately bounces across the
hull. Wouldn't that glare kind of like help my evade, because they couldn't really see what they were shooting at? Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know I'm going for the Nemesis X because the Saturn reminds me of that other dud Forsaken hull. It almost looks exactly the same. That lasted not very long at all. They're the ones that Shane had.
That's a
that
positive
quite
note.
liked. Yeah.
The Avenger.
Yeah, the Avenger. That's the one.
Yeah.
The Nemesis X, though, just from like what I've read in this blurb, and I don't know anything about the hull, and I don't honestly don't really fucking care anymore. But it just seems like it's going to be very driving intense if you're having to duck in and out of clouds and run back and forth and use, cold auras and whatnot. It just seems like it's going to be very driving intense.
Yeah,
and a game that lags the hell in back half the time, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that kind of driving.
No, the Saturn seems like the bull in a china shop fleet. Where you're getting extremely short range. If you want to crush it. So if you was thinking of a fleet that could possibly auto, even though I'm not saying auto, you know what I mean, that would be the fleet to go with. Would be the Saturn by the look of it, because it's designed to get into short range.
Yeah.
I've never autoed ever during a raid, but that would be the one that seems to be designed to sort of get in there and take it. Well, I would have thought on the strength of that the Nemesis would probably be weaker because it's designed to hit and run and hide.
You might need to be careful what you say, because you'll get a meme of someone putting something in there saying, "Get in and take it."
But you see what I'm saying? The Saturn would seem to be. It must have better armor because it's designed to get in close. Whereas the Nemesis, is designed for hit and run. Therefore, if you're using them sort of tactics, it should be a slower game, I would have thought. But maybe less armored, but it can hide itself to defend itself.
Well, the other thing you want to know is how many points do you need to get everything? Because with that hull, if you have to duck in and out, it's very driving. You have to drive a lot. So you don't want to be doing 500 sets of this, because after you'll never want to do this. You never want to see that ship again after it. If you have to do too many sets of this, or if there's 3 or 4, or you have to use this and then you have to use something else to kill something else, then I'd rather have the other one and auto.
But I think they're trying to get away from the autoing as much as they can, because they want people to blitz instead of auto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think whichever one that you've either got, I would say like the Saturn would be the one that it's designed to go in short range, so it should have better armor, but it is going to take damage, So it might be possible to use a Nemesis if you want to grind out the game and play it slowly and theoretically cost you less, but you're going to spend a lot more seat time playing with that hull. That's the two choices I think that you have. You either go in here and like smash it, bull in the china shop, or you go with a Nemesis. But if you've got the seat time to play with a Nemesis, then that's your choice. And I think it depends how much seat time you actually have and how much you want to play, how many hours you can put in during the raid. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from it anyway.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait until Tuesday or whenever it is that we find out a bit more about them. So, it would be very good to see them actually in action, because then you'd be able to make an informed decision. So, and that's kind of what I was getting at before with the choose wisely thing that nobody liked and everybody was up in arms about. That they're just doing that again. So.
Yeah, and it's really too bad that they pretty much already come out and said there's not going to be any videos.
Yeah.
Well, just think about it. When people put the scatters on the mana cores, they done really poorly, but with the missiles, they actually done a lot better. And this could happen the same way.
Yeah,
my scatter did pretty good.
Yeah, my scatters worked really good.
I really think it depends on your play style, because it seems quite split there, and some people with scattergun mana cores really like them, and some people prefer the missile ones. So
I did prefer the scatters. I've got both fleets, and I prefer the scatters.
Yeah.
Can I jump back into shipwrecks and introducing interceptors again in little list, yeah.
Sure.
And
Well,
on the second,
hang on. Let's try to take the list in order. That way, we're not jumping all around, and it's easier to just scroll down. So, where are the shipwrecks next?
Oh, okay. Below, because obviously we've got these two. We've got the Howler. Then, as we go, this is about what's coming up. Shipwrecks introduced interceptors. We had the fun new features. Yeah. Now, in the second paragraph, yeah, the bit that says there, it stems. The current big project in the planning stages stems from a long-standing community request to bring much-needed rejuvenation to Fleet v Fleet combat. It's also been a while since we introduced a new gameplay mode. Now, it's not so much a long-standing community request to bring back Fleet v Fleet, but when we ask for that, we want it to be done at a reasonable cost.
Yeah.
We say, yeah, we like Fleet v Fleet. We like that. We do enjoy it, but we want it done at a reasonable cost. We don't want it to be 15 gold to repair a fleet or more, because that isn't fun for anybody.
It's fun for kicks.
Yeah, that's about it. So even though there is a need, Fleet v Fleet, I'm not going to say deny that it. A lot of people want to play it, and myself included. But when it gets to a point that it's so expensive, then it isn't fun.
Yeah.
If you can bring some fun back into it and make it reasonable cost, then it was called for. People did want it, but they don't want it to be extortionately priced.
But then you got the flip side that if my interceptor fleet that only takes an hour and a half to repair can sink somebody's Conqueror fleet who's going to take 10, 12, 15 hours to repair, that's not exactly fair either. Because then you're right back to the whole sniping problem that we had before.
Exactly. Yeah. It's finding that balance again,
Well, I mean, there'll be that many restrictions on what can hit what and all that sort of thing that they're not going to let that griefing or sniping happen again, because the whales will complain about it, that someone somehow got an unfair advantage on them for exactly that they sunk their Conqueror fleet. So they won't let that happen again.
So if they're going to limit it to where interceptors can only hit interceptors, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah. That's not fleet versus fleet.
No, I mean, well, the shipwrecks are out there. Well, they're going to put them out there eventually, and they're going to contain, it says here, uranium, titanium base parts, and upgrade kits now. Now, we don't quite know yet which fleets can hit those, because I don't think they've made that clear.
I'm pretty sure they were inferring that Conquerors would be the ones to hit them.
Okay, so therefore the fleet, the Corsairs, would then also be built in the Conqueror yard, you would have thought, because Conquerors in fighting Fleet v Fleet versus Conquerors,
Well, so, it's a PvP hull, so it'll be built in PvP shipyard. Well, I'm sure you can build it in both, but
yeah. But what I'm saying is if we look at the so now we've got Conqueror hulls that can do PvP.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we're sort of moving the boundaries again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because we've already had to build a load of PvE hulls to be able to get these resources, and now it's all right. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that we use the PvP hulls to be able to do it. Yeah. But the fact is we're getting back to the same thing again. It was just I think it's the sniping bit. If these fleets are able to kill our PvP hulls, what the hell are they?
Yeah.
What are these Corsairs like? How strong are they? And of course, most of us have already thought, well, if they can kill PvP hulls, they're going to be good in guard fleets, unless they ban them from putting in your guard. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, one of the things that this is going to have is that they've got heavy weapons that only fire in a certain area, and then you've got your other weapons that'll fire. No, sorry. So the heavy weapons do 360 arcs, but they've got short range, and then you've got your other weapons that are only going to be able to point in other ways as well. So I think they're going to be very, very specific for these shipwrecks. I don't think they're going to be things that we're going to want to put in our guards and all that sort of stuff, just from what I've read.
Yeah, I'm just reading about now. The Corsair comes with primary built-in weapons, fire on its port and starboard. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, in the bigger picture of this, the one thing that really worries me is that it's more crap on the map.
Yeah.
So, because I've just moved to a really busy sector, and there is just so much crap on the map already that to add more stuff into it, that's going to add more lag. And certainly, if it's shipwrecks are going to be the sort of thing that are going to be a probably I need bloody Dooms here to talk about it, but if there's players going in and out of them and all that sort of thing, it almost seems like it's going to be another issue of the bounty targets and how much lag they create in the game. So that to me is probably the even bigger worry, that there's going to be so much crap on the map that, and this is one of the things we talked about in the consolidation in the first place, that the map is going to just get so crowded.
I'm still wondering the bounty lag, if that's not caused by them not turning off the friends list down to 10 or whatever, like they do during raids.
Perhaps. Yeah, I don't know.
I said before, I mean, a lot of the raids could be done on the little towers that we put outside our bases. So you don't have to have the targets all over the map.
No, the mercs have a fucking coronary when that happens, though.
yeah, but I get where you're coming from. But no, they still come in and prep for them. If they make it, you've only got to open up the target, and then people can come in and help you prep. Because they did that back in the day. I mean, they've done it before in a raid. In raids before, it was all outside, and it put much less congestion on the map. And because it was only the people that were playing, that would be activating stuff anyway. So you didn't, that would cut the lag down massively. So it's a much better way of implementing the raid targets, because you go in there, you click, which level of target you want, and hopefully, as well, if you start the target and somebody could come in and murk it or prep it for you if you weren't able to do it, you've only got to start the battle. And that way it also couldn't be stolen.
Yeah, I know. I've said this before. I really think that they're scared of mucking with stuff like that because they don't understand how any of it works.
But they have done it in the past.
Yeah, but that's the past. That's
people in the past understood how things worked.
Yeah, and played the game. So, anyway. So, did anyone else have any thoughts on any of this?
No.
I don't know. I think they're going way overboard with this whole firing arc thing. I think I said that Thursday, though. They take an idea sometimes and they go way overboard with it and start implementing it into every goddamn thing that they do.
Yeah.
And it's we're still in the process of getting used to the targets that we're hitting having firing arcs and our bases having firing arcs. Introduce shit slowly. Give us time to get used to it before you start introducing it into every single aspect of the fucking game.
Yeah, it's like you said the other night, they take one idea and just
beat it to death.
Completely go overboard with it. And, whether it's the right idea or not, that's what they go for. So.
Unless that idea is half repair, and then if it is, party on.
Well, no, because I've even seen people who complain if they don't get enough heads up about the half repair time.
I know, but those people need helmets.
You might have to let that go one day, Damnation.
No, I will never let that go. Vlad, you're a fucking nut job.
This is it. We're doing TLCs, yeah, and they go, it's the same target you had in the raid. Yeah, but it's not fucking half repair now, is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not half repair like it was in the raid, pal.
Well, and that's what made my decision. When I was saying earlier that I think I'm only going to get to prize pack 2 and just keep it there. And if they have them in the raid, it'll be happy days. And if they don't, well, it's my tough luck. Just because of that half repairs missing. So, and we've also got harder targets. You've got to do seven run throughs. So
yeah, that's the thing. It's you got to rush. You can't take your time and be strategic and do 7 targets in an hour. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, yes and no, because
I remember 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I don't know. It's been a while, when we had this whole thing about 7 targets and a 1 hour time limit, and that was such a stupid idea.
Yeah,
but this new team wouldn't know that because they weren't here, but they know everything and they know better than the community what the game needs.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that I agree that 7 targets in an hour is too much, but these targets are pretty quick, and the mechanic of the eradicator means that you've got to keep it in the frenzy to keep the damage down, which means that you've got to rush the target. So
yeah, it depends on the driving and how fast the fleet works. If it's really slow fleets, getting 7 done and huge targets, getting 7 done in an hour is mad. But it can be done with this one, but it's still quite painful. Like it's and how much damage you do take in the targets.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, we probably waffled on for a fair bit now. Is there anything else? I guess we've always
Scroll down. There's one more thing to talk about.
Scroll down. Okay. There?
No, keep going.
Keep going.
Inventory management.
Yeah.
Go for it.
What do you guys think about it? I like that they're going to do it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Super.
I personally still want a favorite section for shit that I use all the fucking time.
I almost don't care what happens. It's got to be an improvement, and I'm thankful. In all honesty, any bit of sorting, helping me figure these, any bit of helping an older guy with bad eyes locate things. Even though that I know the game for so long, it's maddening when I go to search for certain things from a picture, where it could be.
Yeah, I mean, with our specials, this is inventory management, I assume. Now, if you just typed in the word ballistic, and then every single special that gave you a bonus or some sort with ballistic came up, and then all the rest have gone, you know what I mean? So, that you don't need. That would make life easier. Then you can just choose between those 45 of those ones that are up there. You know what I mean? Or whatever, but at least it would narrow it down to what you actually need to pick, if you could actually type in, the specific genre and then go, right, bang,
Yeah, if you could sort somehow, I don't think they're going to go to that extreme. I mean, I don't know.
Or type in missile and everything that gives a missile, benefit to missiles, and stuff like that for the specials. It would make life a lot easier, and
The way I see it, I wouldn't start it that way. I would start, the first thing should be what hull class it is, because you can't put certain missiles on certain hulls because they're now locked to certain classes. So first thing it should be, the way I would do it is I would put a siege or put a conqueror, and that already takes a lot of stuff out. And then what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's so many specials and stuff now that it's maddening.
It's a database. The first thing I ever did when I was years back I'm going back now. What bleeding hell? 1985.
100 years.
85. I think it was. No, 95. I mean, I did database programming, so that's basically like cross-referencing stuff and things like that. And building proper databases. Yeah, and so I did that years ago, and and how to. So if you put in a certain keyword, everything that related to that would come up, and only that.
Yeah.
And that's how a proper database works. And that's all it is basically. The inventory management should just be a mini database of all the specials that we currently have
Well,
And,
I'd say this too. Everybody's only focusing on the specials. I would like to see it branch out into other parts of the game too, like ship build tokens, for example. I would love to be able to filter my ship build tokens so I don't have to scroll down the 1,900,000 ones of hulls that I'm never going to be able to use them for anymore to get to the ones I can actually use.
Exactly, because that was one of the things with these, just circling back just to the upgrade kits, like, how many do I have? Fucked if I know. How many do I need? Fucked if I know. There's a special tab. Why don't you use it? But anyway.
Yeah. And like, I'd love to see this for the chests too, for the people who sit on tons of different kinds of chests in their thing, for they save them for raids or whatever. I'd love to see the inventory management go into that too, so they wouldn't have to like click through 19,000 chests before they finally get to the one that's at the end that they actually want to open.
Yeah. Well, the solution to that was easy, that you just put the one that you've most recently won at the start. So, but they couldn't even manage that. So,
well, you don't always necessarily want to open the one that you most recently won, though.
Well, true, but you're probably more likely to
a filter that you can be like FM, a drop down thing is FM chest or event chest or whatever. Just to make even that a little bit easier to sort. So, yes, it's definitely needed for specials, but I wouldn't get so hung up on specials that I would forget about all the other places in the game where this could come in handy, too.
Yeah, tokens is definitely a big
I think Carl Welch just made a good point, and that is basically, as soon as you build your hull, or anything, as soon as you lay your hull down, it just deletes all the specials, really, that are not relevant to that hull. Don't go on it.
Yeah.
Everything, all weapons, everything.
That's a great idea.
They just don't even show up.
Yeah.
So that would just save a lot of hassle.
But not only delete it, but take them away. Don't show them. Not like it is now, where they're grayed out.
Yeah.
Because you still got 500 specials or weapons to look at. So take them away.
That's it. That's it. They just don't even
display
pop up.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. Is they don't display. That's what he said.
That's a great. I'm not reading chat. I haven't got that up. So yeah, but that's a great idea. Yeah.
So, Carl, that's an awesome idea, but they won't do it.
Yeah, the surest way to make sure an idea doesn't get implemented is to have it be a good one.
That's right.
If we put up a poll and we say that's what we want, you can guarantee it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
and
whatever
the player came up with it as well, so therefore it can't be valid.
Because we're arrogant.
That's why they had to get rid of Just Mike, because he was actually doing all the proper things.
Yeah. Well, whatever you do, Kicks, don't implement Carl's idea.
We'll see if that works.
Yeah, let's hope.
No, but it is much needed, and I'm sorry, and again, I'm going to be negative, but don't talk about it, just do it, and do it properly. I don't want to hear about it for the next 6 months. Oh, yes, it's coming soon.
We had a meeting about having a meeting about possibly implementing that.
Yeah, and we might focus on it, but we need more focus.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cool beans. All right, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about?
PP next week.
All right. There you go. That's what's happening. And yes, it is. You're definitely right. It is claim either, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
We've got Wrong Thing here doing the strategy guide. Maybe he's not actually doing it. He's just releasing it. He's cutting the ribbon.
Maybe.
But it does say a sneak peek at the targets.
Well, I hope so.
That's what it actually says there, that you'll be facing.
Yeah, but I think they're giving you a sneak peek, as in screenshots, maybe, and words, not like video kind of stuff.
Oh no. They've already said there's no video, but even maybe just being able to see what a target looks like could help make a decision on what choice you make with a hole. You know what I mean?
You know, and this would be a great idea for them to like tell people kind of like what direction to go with building their hulls instead of what they did during the siege cycle, and wait till we were 3/4 of the way through the first raid. It's like, oh well, here's all the tips for building your ships. It's like, well, it's a little fucking late now, pal.
Well, maybe they've taken that on board. Maybe they realize that wasn't a good way of doing it, and they are going to do it early.
Yeah, well, if they do, we gotta meet for that one.
So we can only assume at the moment that the target will be the same for both fleets, and it'll be the way that the fleet approaches it. Because mind you, it does say targets plural rather than target. So is there a different target for each fleet?
Well, we pretty much always have one that's designed for one fleet and one that's designed for the other fleet. They can both do each other's targets, but for more damage. But yeah, it's always been one for one fleet, one for the other fleet.
Mm.
Anyway,
just like even in the current raid cycle that we're at, we technically have Eradicator targets and Strike targets. It's just that they can each do each other's target.
Yeah.
Just not each as TLC.
Yeah, Carl, I have no idea why Assault is next. I have no idea what the hell's going on with Garrison. I don't know I have no idea. Some other people were saying Garrison is after Assault, but I saw no reference to that anywhere. And when I asked them to quote where they got that information from, they never said anything. So I don't know if they were just making it up or what.
It's because the new team have not had time yet to realise that when they do a 4 or 3 month cycle or 4 raids a year, that they have to involve Garrison in it, so they have to throw Garrison in somewhere later. You know what I mean?
It's been pointed out to them many, many times. So they can't say that they don't know because they've been made aware of it a ton of times.
Yeah, but they haven't had time to start sort of coding for that one. So they're still going with the coding for what would normally be the next one, and then they'll probably throw Garrison in afterwards or something like that, because that'll give them time to do that. I think that's the problem why we haven't got Garrison, because it's where they went back to like 3 month raid cycles.
Yeah, when they said we were doing 3 month raid cycles, it was brought up to them about Garrison right then. So they can't say they didn't know. They can't say they didn't have enough time.
No, I think part of the problem is the mixed messaging that we're getting. That one post says something and another says something else. So I think that's part of where the confusion lies. Because, like, to me, it should have always been Assault. It's just what they're going to do with the new FM stuff that puts the confusion in people's minds.
Well, I mean, these new 2 holes, they're going to be now going into the next FM cycle, aren't they?
We don't know that. That's what they originally said, and then based on the feedback that they got from that, they kind of backpedaled off of that a little bit, and they haven't really said anything more since then. So I don't think even they know what they're doing with the FM at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Cool. All right. Well, I guess that's probably burnt that out then. So, because there's only a couple of.
You guys ready for the raid? You guys looking forward to it? That'll be a good raid, I think, as long as they keep it in line with what the last raid was.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I've actually managed to finally get my shipyard done. So, because I chose to do that in this downtime, I'm actually carrying a crap ton of tokens into the raid. So I'm quite happy about that.
Well, they did say, I think, that they haven't deliberately, they haven't turned up the damage in the raid for the upgraded fleets,
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean they didn't turn it up regardless.
Again, no, they didn't. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it doesn't mean they haven't turned it up a notch again, yeah. But,
That's
they haven't, it isn't set for only upgraded fleets to really be viable. So that's a small bonus, but whether we'll see in reality on next. Well, for me, it'll be Thursday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope hope we continue to see the trend of not having alliance board prizes, leaderboard prizes, and having. Don't want to go back to having prizes for like the top players that are cool for them, but don't really impact the game at all.
Yeah, it's all right if you get a new like a skin or something like that, or a badge, you know. But I don't think you should be rewarded with something that can impact the game, like by getting a better hull or an extra weapon or an extra this. You know what I mean? Because that isn't fair on anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, saying with one of your faces that you don't want to flood the market with tokens because that breaks the game, and then with your other face saying, "Oh, but if you spend enough money to blitz these many points, we'll give you 40 days worth of fucking lurker build tokens." That's about as two faces you get, man.
Yeah, most definitely. And I was going to say too, the other part of that is that we're speaking from people that have got upgraded hulls, and there's that there's going to be people in the game that have only just finished refitting their eradicators from all the refits that have had to be done already. So the third raid is always harder, but they can't make it too hard, or they shouldn't make it too hard.
Well, no, I mean the whole point of this is like if people can't get the hulls, they can't compete in the next series of bloody raids. So they're cutting their own throat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If people can't compete in stuff, you know what I mean. That's it. You have to make it viable. There's no point in keep upgrading the damage that you're giving out, because what would be a 6-day raid, wouldn't it? I assume because it's normally at the end of the month. The big one is the 6 month to get the next prizes. Yeah, but if you make it impossible for players to get that to start with, then you end up losing customers because they can't play the bloody game.
Well, let's be honest. The Eradicator, if I'm not mistaken, from the time that we originally built them for the very first raid and to where we're at now, a new piece has come out for every single slot on that ship, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe I got that obviously in the first. You had to take it, So you got it in the first instance because there was an option. The strike was in the second raid, yeah. But I'm still bloody building it, running into the last raid of the series.
Yeah, I mean, you have literally had to entirely rebuild your Eradicators if you wanted to have all the newest, latest, greatest stuff on it. Like you have no special on it that is probably the same as when you started if you want all the latest and greatest stuff.
It's an old thing in the UK.
That's ridiculous. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
It's like painting the Forth Bridge. Basically, it's an old thing in the UK. As soon as you finish painting it, you start at the other end again and carry on painting it again. It's and as soon as you start a refit, it seems like you're refitting it again, and that's the way it seems to have been. Constant refits on the Eradicators.
Definitely. All of February was just refits on one hull, basically.
Well, let's see, because you got the CL4 and the FM. You got the limited weapons, and then you started getting the limited siege batteries, and then you got the nuke accelerator 3, and then you got the lower cannon mount 2, and then literally there's pretty much nothing that stayed the same. Maybe your engine.
Well, you had to get the folded ferrite too, didn't you?
I do believe that was in Krampus or something, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was actually before you had them fully built, though, with armor. So I think we got that before the first raid.
Yeah. But yeah, though I don't think I've ever had a ship that's been refitted more than these.
Yeah, and then the distinct lack of tokens that we've gotten for these ships on top of that, fuck you guys.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm still debating on whether to refit again to lower cannon mount 2. I am vaguely thinking about doing that, but it's craziness.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all I gotta say.
Cool. So we'll just quickly go down and.
I asked Toxic first. I know he always has something that he wants to throw in at the end.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. What?
I
said my bit.
No, you're not.
And Simba, you've been very quiet, so you've got to say something.
Something.
I guess I left myself open there, didn't I?
Mhm.
Left yourself open to go in and take it.
Oh, God. Okay. Ross, kill switch.
No, I'm just chugging along. I guess I'm not so down this week in BP because I've kind of stepped away from it somewhat. Yeah, I haven't been so engaged as past weeks, so the frustration level isn't that high for me. I'm doing okay, and I'm going into my eradicators are upgrading. I'm on the last haul that up to level 2, and that's where I'm going to stick it out at and staying there. And I'm hoping for big things. I'm looking forward to the event. So to give me something to work on the next PvP haul. I'm interested in earning that and starting to build it.
Isn't it sad to feel good about the game? You have to not be playing it.
It's true. I mean, well, in a way, that it does too much involvement in try to gets overwhelming at times for me as a leader. There's other things that draw on the game other than just playing. So at times it's fun just to take a step back in a relaxation mode and a deep breath and realize that it is a game.
Yeah.
And I'm doing okay here. So that's where I'm at now, and I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. They say as a leader of Alliance myself, it's been nice to step back. What's been good this week is we didn't have an event as well this week on top of the TLCs.
Mm-hmm. So that was really weird.
It's given us a little bit of a break. It's been nice. There was less stress this weekend, I think, to do things or have to win some crazy thing. So that's been nice.
Yeah, I was literally shocked that they didn't throw out like a VXP weekend at the very last minute or something. I'm like, wow, we actually have a weekend that there's not an event. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was actually watching for a VXP.
Yeah,
well,
me too.
I said something the other night about in the after show. It's like somebody said about there's no event this week. I'm like, no, they'll have something. They'll post something up before
Well, 4 TLCs is enough to keep you going for a while.
Well, yeah, that's very true, especially these TLCs.
Yeah.
Given the damage that they're putting out. Cool. All right. Well, I hope everyone...
Carl, to answer your question, it used to be when we would get the new FM, I would actually in the first week try to get all the new prizes so I didn't have to worry about it the weeks after. I don't bother with that anymore. I get one new prize and then go straight to the shit. And then I'll just get the next one the next week. I'm done chasing that carrot at the end of the stick. I just do what I have to get by, and after that they can piss on it.
Well, I've got last week's build tokens because I opened up the chests, and I'm saving, and I'll take this week's chests into the raid. So I should have at least 10, 11 days worth of build tokens to take through. To hopefully get some blanks built for VXP weekend.
Yeah, I've done the same.
Me too.
We know Toxic wouldn't have done that, though.
Well, he's missed it by a week, but I've got like 1 week's worth of tokens.
Oh, good job.
Which is a week more than I normally have.
Yeah, that's good for you. Well done.
Yeah.
Let's see, you get a good head start there.
Oh yeah, I'm right into it.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I don't think I have any.
I'm not going to have any for once in my life.
But the thing is, I mean, normally the blank holes are about 4 bloody days or so each, aren't they? Anyway,
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I chose to do my shipyard, because I was looking at it thinking I'm never ever going to get this bloody thing done. But with the gap between the bounty and stuff like that, I've managed to get it done with.
And one thing, sorry, one thing no one's touched about yet is there's been no mention of a flagship for either of the two hulls.
We don't get we don't get flagships till the second raid.
Yeah,
So,
you know they're coming.
Wash your mouth out with soap. You did not hear that.
But you know they're coming.
No,
We do not want to hear that.
just shut up.
You'd rather just be an ostrich with your head in the sand? Huh?
Yes. I'll mute you all. Just stop it now.
I'll kick you. How about that?
It's probably fair. Probably fair. All right. Are we ready to wrap this thing up yet, or is anyone else going to say anything?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
All right. Well, yes. Hopefully the raid will be good for you. Hopefully we'll learn something on Tuesday of the strategy guide, etc., etc., etc. Hopefully we've talked about some valid things, and thanks to everyone in chat. It's been pretty busy, so that's always good to see. Thanks heaps. It's actually, I really appreciate seeing people in chat and talking and all the rest of it. So thanks heaps. If you want to join us for the after show, not that I'm going to be hanging around for very long because I got shit to do, but
trying to pretend you have a life all of a sudden. What?
Hey, it's a long weekend and we're having a barbecue, so stick it up your ass. Anyway, so if you would like to like the video, feel free. If you want to subscribe, feel free. Damnation gets upset if you don't send your friends to the page, and that's all I'm going to say. So good luck, everyone.
I don't get upset. I just say shame on you.
Well, that's good enough. Anyway, good luck, everyone, and we'll see you when we see you.
Laters.
Hooroo.
Have a good one.